Maria Sharapova is joining us now. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to dive right into it as you do in the book. We're going to talk about the suspension.
Yeah.
Beginning of the book, you talk about it. You call it a sloppy mistake. Right. You say you didn't realize that meldonium was illegal at that time or on the suspended list. How does that happen?
Yeah, it's a question that I was asking for quite some time. But once you get past that, it's time to move on. And the U.S. Open was an incredible moment for me, where I knew what I went through. I knew all the ups and downs that I had faced in the last couple of years. Being away from the sport was really difficult. I've done this since I was a young girl. So to get that back, that was my dream. That was my wish, and I made that happen.
So when you get the call and they say you're suspended, when did you realize what went through your mind when you realized you had made that mistake, that you couldn't play tennis anymore for a while?
Look, I think there are a lot of things that you can ask and you can talk about, and people you can blame, starting with yourself. But once you get through that phase, it's about the long-term vision. And I've always seen myself ending the sport on my own terms, and I knew that that's not the way that I would finish my career and that I would be back. And so being back means a lot to me. It's, as I said, it's something when you do it for a really long time, it's a huge passion of yours. But it also gave me an opportunity to continue writing this book. So.
Well, you said that your biggest edge is your tough persona. So how has that helped you deal with what you've gone through over the last 15 months?
Yeah. Well, look, everyone's life is quite unique, and mine has been so. I mean, I came into the United States as a 7-year-old girl, and as I speak about in the book, it's really a journey. It's a special experience that I shared with my father for the first couple of years without having much money, facing a lot of roadblocks, getting through those tough situations, and really coming through. And that's why the book is called Unstoppable. It's really a memoir about all those situations where you could have taken the wrong turns and you could have let yourself down, but you kept going. It was a mentality that I carried with me. So many life lessons that I was able to learn along the way.
And 7-year-old girl with a father, you came over to the U.S. with your father, who had $700,
yes,
and just a dream for his daughter,
right,
to make something of herself.
Yes, and you think that it's crazy, and many people in the first couple of years thought and really believed that our story was make-believe, that it didn't exist, and no one really, when we would show up at tennis academies all around Florida, no one really got our story. There's like, where's the mother? My mom couldn't get a visa for the first couple of years. So there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainties, and yeah.
And coming back to the U.S. Open this year, a lot of uncertainty about how you're going to be received by the fans that are at the Ash Stadium. And we have a little clip on how the reception was for you when you came out to the court. A great moment for you, but what was that like? We see you're very emotional.
I don't think you can never expect how emotional you will be in those moments. I've never been that emotional after a first-round match. I knew when the draw came out that would be a special primetime match. I was facing against an extremely tough opponent, Simona Halep, #2 in the world, and I knew what that match would mean for the both of us, especially myself not being part of the U.S. Open for the last few years, and that was just special.
And you made it to the 4th round.
I did.
So do you feel like you're back on track?
I'm getting there. I'm building a good base. You realize there are a lot of things that you miss when you don't play for that amount of time. Before the suspension, I was injured for quite a period of time, so I haven't played a lot of matches. So to be able to compete at the U.S. Open, play 4 matches, it's a good starting block for me.
Now, before your suspension, in the book, you said that you were planning for your retirement, but now that's changed a little bit.
It really has. It really has.
In what way?
I think as I was in my early 20s, I didn't really believe that my body could handle the physicality of the sport, the strain of getting up every single day, 6 days a week, and competing and training and having that dedication and motivation really to keep going. And the things that your body can do at 30, and a lot of things is nutrition, hydration, keeping yourself healthy. Those are all part of it. I feel like there's so many great new ways to train as well that are not as strenuous. It's quality over quantity, and it really prolongs someone's career.
And we saw a lot of young faces coming up now. Coco Vandeweghe, Sloane Stephens won the U.S. Open, Madison Keys. How does it feel for you to see this next young crop of players?
I love it. I think, as when I was a young girl, like, you don't really realize there are generations, and there's always going to be someone behind you taking your spot, wanting to get there. I feel like I'm obviously toward the end of my career, so to see someone like Sloane Stephens win the U.S. Open, but also to see someone like Venus Williams do so well this year, and be what, top 5 in the world right now personally gives me so much motivation to keep going.
You know what? You are unstoppable, and your book is out today. Really appreciate you, Maria. We'll be right back, everybody.